This is Jackie Hauser with Flexner-Hauser Injury Law with another podcast of Laughter in the Law. I'm here with my friend from law school, Jennifer Cave. We have kidnapped her and are not allowing her to leave until we finish all these podcasts. How about that?
I'm willing to be here. I have Stockholm Syndrome.
Now, the problem is we get to talking and then we just can't stop talking, and so we just keep rolling. But we want to talk today post-law school and talk about your career as a JAG officer and talk about that whole for post-law school time period. So let's pick up from graduation day and moving forward. There's that summer, we call it the summer of hell with the bar prep. And what was it like for you once you finally realized, hey, we're done with this part and now we got to do the hard part of prepping for the bar exam?
I think it hit... Remember when we took that bar prep class with that judge? I thought he was an interesting character, but he did have a lot of helpful hints. He was very practical in how he told us to prep for it. And I remember you and I kind of took a different path than everyone. I wasn't going to stay in the area of law school. Like, I was taking the Georgia bar, not the Virginia bar. So I needed something different from everyone else. And so we had taken kind of the self-study program where they just send you a podcast with all the lectures as opposed to getting all the lectures in person. And so I think between transitioning to that class and then into getting my AirPod, I think is what they're called.
It was it was an iPod.
It was an iPod.
We might have to hold one up as an example since most people don't.
Like, here's a rotary phone. Here's an iPod.
Here's an iPod.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just all our entire bar prep was on this little machine.
And I remember in Georgia, we had 18 possible topics. And one of them was commercial paper. And I was like, I think I might know something about this because I had a paper mill in my hometown. And for anybody that does anything with commercial paper, that's the dumbest thing you could have ever heard someone say. Commercial paper is about checks and check writing. Has nothing to do with making paper.
It might be about the Uniform Commercial Code.
All of it. I wouldn't know at this point. So I opened it up. I was like, oh, I'm going to have to teach myself that whole thing.
Yeah.
So that's when I was like, oh, no. But then you would have those moments of clarity to be like, oh, that's what con law was about.
It was amazing, wasn't it?
It was amazing. So I feel like that summer was really when it hit. But I remember that instructor telling us, too, the judge, he was like, you'll have one mental breakdown before the exam. And I was like, I've been shot at. Like, people tried to blow me up. Like, I am mentally tough.
Yeah.
And about a week before, I missed an exam question. Like just missed it. Missed the whole thing.
Yeah.
The whole point of it. And I remember I called the bar exam, not the bar exam. I called the people that
the bar prep
people. And I was like, are you sure this answer's right? They're like, yeah. And I just laid down on the floor and was crying. I was like, I'm never gonna make it. These 3 years have been just for nothing. I'm so sorry. And then my mom was like, is this like that breakdown you're supposed to have? And I was like, I'm not breaking down. I'm not even breaking down. I'm so tough. And I had it.
Yeah.
But the day of the bar exam, I didn't drive myself to a bar exam. My mom did.
Yeah.
And I couldn't function. Like, I couldn't get my own food.
Yeah.
I couldn't do anything. I was just like taking the test. And I remember it was like ours was 2 days, 3 days, 2 days. Because we had already taken the multi-state.
MPRE.
Yeah, the MPRE, we had taken that. But I remember the second day, the lady, like the proctor, like she's they're doing it as like maybe like a fourth job or something, but she was like my lifeline. And I was like, last day she picked up our stuff, I was like, I'm gonna miss you so much. And I left, and we were driving home, so we had to drive from Atlanta to Savannah. My mom was driving, and she was like, look, there's a rainbow. She's like, that means that it's a sign from God that you're going to pass. And I was like, it's not. It's a sign we're never flooding again. You don't even know anything, lady. And she was like, okay, all right, Yeah.
There's no joy. There's no joy in Savannah.
No joy. I was like, no, that's what say we're never flooding again. Like, you're wrong. You don't even know the Bible. So, and
Oh my gosh.
yeah, but
Yeah.
we made it. Well, my bar exams results didn't come out till October.
I know.
Mine was on Halloween, which in Savannah is celebrated.
It's a big day.
Big day. And then I signed myself up for a biathlon the next day. So why wouldn't you just celebrate your bar exam results and then go do a biathlon the next day? Like, not my best life choices there, but
Oh my
I guess I thought in case I didn't pass, I would
Yeah.
be able to beat my body up the next day and take my stress out that way. So
Yeah. I remember we did that. I did the iPod too, and the iPod study. And so they
which
sent
state were you?
North Carolina.
North Carolina, yeah.
That's where you're at right now.
That's right.
And so, because I wasn't going to do Virginia, so I wasn't going to stay in Virginia.
Yep.
And I could either do it like, one of these major cities like Raleigh or Charlotte or even Wilmington. But see, if I would have done that, I would have had to live there.
Yep.
And I just was out of money. I mean, you're paying tens of thousands for this daggone iPod that they sent you. Yeah. God, I hope that thing works.
Yep.
Let me make sure I keep that charged every day. Plus all the materials, plus all your your law school loans. I'm like, I can't have 3 more months of I'm not working, but I can't have 3 more months of not working and bleeding money.
Right.
Right? So I opted for the iPod option like you did. And I remember at some point we decided to meet in Lynchburg. I can't even remember why we went.
Starbucks, wasn't it?
Why did we go? Why did we go to Lynchburg?
I was still living in Lynchburg until
Okay.
right before the bar.
Okay, so maybe that's it. Maybe I just went up and we just studied together a
Yeah.
bit. And so I drove up to Lynchburg. We're sitting in a bookstore, drinking some coffee, doing our little iPod studies. You're studying Virginia. I'm sorry, you're studying Georgia. I'm
Commercial
studying North
paper,
Carolina.
making paper.
That's right. And I'll never forget one of the instructors, not professors, but instructors from the law school comes up and goes, "Hi guys, how y'all doing? How's the summer of study going?" And remember what he talked about?
Yeah. He was like, man, these kids doing like these self-study programs, that's surefire failure. But as long as you are doing the in-person ones, you're going to be fine.
Yeah, you're gonna be fine.
You're going to be fine. And he probably went on for 5 minutes talking about all the problems with doing self-study programs.
how detrimental and just
you
awful.
don't get the full effect and all everything you need to learn. Yeah.
And at that time, self-study was brand new. They'd only done it like a year or two, and so they didn't have a lot of stats on it. But that was a brand new way because most of the time, you went to
just
the bar
went to-
review.
Yeah.
So this was brand spanking new, and
We were trendsetters.
We were.
I don't know anybody else that did it.
I don't know either, to tell you the truth.
I didn't ask a lot of people.
But anyway, he goes on for like 5 minutes because of this new thing, listening to an iPod, and we let him go on, and then we were like, "Yeah, that's what we're doing.
we're doing self-study.
We're doing self-study. We're doing the iPod." And he goes,
No, there was the awkward second. I was like, let's just. We both decided we were going to let that just hang in the air.
Yeah.
We weren't going to say, like, we're doing self study, but we understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
No, we were just like, no, we're doing self study.
"Yeah."
And just left it there
Yeah.
in the air to see.
And he goes, "Oh, y'all be fine. You'll be fine. Oh, you guys will be fine."
Oh.
But he's also the guy, gosh, once again, they might take my diploma if I say this, but he's also the guy that every time I see him anywhere in Lynchburg, I go, "Oh, you working here now?"
Oh, that's terrible.
If I see him in Starbucks, "Oh, do you work here now?"
Oh, my gosh.
And he goes, "Oh, no, I'm just here getting some coffee."
Oh, my gosh.
Okay. So
That's right. He was hopping around to different things.
Yeah,
So it did
yeah.
make sense where you're coming from.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was like, he couldn't have gone on longer about
No.
how terrible. I don't know. And it was like an odd, like, does he keep saying this for a reason? Like, is he trying to
know.
say we're going to fail?
Does he not
So-
see the iPods on
I
the
know, I was
table
like,
and our earbuds in our ears? I mean,
Something like, know
what's
your audience. Like,
who does he think
pick
we're
up
listening to?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
seriously. Yeah.
But
That certainly did put a lot of self-doubt. That little conversation, I'm like,
right.
"Oh my God, we're doomed.
I was
We're
like,
doomed."
Yes. Yeah.
All right, so you took the bar exam, you didn't like the ride home, and you certainly didn't like that the rainbow gave you an answer to the prayer that you were going to pass. So we got
That's right. No trust in God. Yeah.
So, and I think we've already talked about this, and we talked about this in an earlier episode, how, law school is a whole bunch of theory, but whenever you're doing that bar prep, things just kind of all come together and you go, hey, that makes sense now.
This is very practical. I see why they do this.
So, I mean, it's not so much that law school prepares you for the bar exam, but I think it prepares you for preparing for the bar exam. Does that make sense?
It got my thinking on the right track.
Yeah.
The simplest way to say it is like you just learned the issue spot better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you remember any of your essays from the bar exam?
Oh, no.
I remember one. It was one. This
guy.
Oh,
from the actual exam?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let me think. Tell your story and I'll try to think about it.
I remember one. It was a guy that had been shot, but he was the bad guy. So like he shot at someone shot at him.
Okay.
And so what they wanted to do was take the bullet out of him. So it was stuck in him, whatever.
Right.
But the point was, constitutionally under the Fourth Amendment, can you take that bullet out of him if he doesn't want you to? Search and seizure question. And I remember going, I was like, oh, this is the balancing test. I was like, oh, yeah. But then I only had about a paragraph of gas in the tank, and I was like, oh, no. Because, man, if I'd had AI back then, I could have really nailed that bar exam. But it was one of those things where I was like, okay, I spotted the right issue. And I remember in my mind, I was like, you're not trying, there's no perfect answer. You just have to do a good answer.
Right.
That's backed. Right. And I really felt like there, I was like, okay, great. Let's figure it out. Yeah. I don't even remember what I came up with them, but I know that I had, noticed that. And that's where one of those moments you're talking about where it's like, okay, it's coming together.
Yeah. I don't remember the specific question. It was a construction law question. Or a contract law question about a construction. And it was a turnkey contract. I remember that. And I just remember reading the scenario and going, what are they trying to get at? What are they trying to get at? And I knew contract law so well, in spite of our professor. I knew it so well. And I could not figure out what they were trying to get at. And so whenever we came at, but I wrote, obviously, you write something, for goodness sake.
Yeah.
I've got bills to pay. And so whenever we came out, they give two different sets. You take one set in the morning, one set in the afternoon. So, whenever we came out, I'm asking people, did you have the construction question? Did you have the construction question? And everybody that did kind of all had a different answer. So we go back.
Wait, you asked people how they did on a question? That's like rule number one in law school.
I wanted to know the answer.
Yeah,
but here's the answer. We went back that night because the next day was the multiple choice. So we were done with essays.
Multiple guess in my case.
Multiple guess. And so we went back that night, and one of the fellas that was there, his dad had taken him, once again, have a driver. His dad was a lawyer, and even his dad was stumped. And his dad goes and pulls out all the bar stuff because he doesn't want his son looking at it. He's like, you go ahead and prep for, you do what you got to do tonight. Don't go backwards, go forwards. His dad finds the answer in a footnote in some of the materials.
That's ridiculous.
And a footnote was the answer. And it was one sentence. And it was the exact scenario that we've been given. And it was an asterisk and a footnote.
Is that what you put?
No. Huh. But hopefully nobody else did either. So they probably tossed that question out.
That question out.
And that's how I passed the bar, maybe. I don't know.
First of all, for the audience, when Jackie says her answer is not good, it's probably the perfect answer. Okay, so let's put everything in perspective. I can't believe you asked somebody, asked other people how
I
they
had to know.
We remember one time in law school, somebody was asking us an answer to a question, and they had completely missed it.
Yes, they had.
Yeah.
Because they were they were even in the wrong.
They were like, it was like an alpha, like the answer was A, B, C, D, and she was at 12, 14, 18. It was like, those are, that's apples and orangutans.
And it was like after the exam, and she goes, hey, I didn't know they were going to work, this, and this into the exam. And we went, oh, okay.
It's like, that's a good point.
Yeah.
You make a good point.
Because they really didn't want that.
And we knew not to ask people that. And you did that on all tests, the bar exam?
No, I did it on that one question. That one question that stumped me. Okay. The question stumped me.
All right.
So, anyway.
Okay.
But I found out it was a footnote, so I didn't feel bad. Anyway.
the fact that all of that, like, that's what separates us. I really
I had to know.
okay.
And I didn't have time to go back and study it.
Well, it was over. What were you going to do?
I don't.
Exactly.
I had to know.
Some people have street smarts. Some people have book smarts.
Let's move on.
Sure.
All right. So you obviously chose a career in JAG. How did you get there?
I had, to be honest, I had almost 10 years of service at that point. And so in the military, which is one of the few for the recruiting pitch, it's one of the few
Do you need
industries.
to give your disclaimer here as well?
These comments are all just the world according to me, don't represent the Department of War. But I am always looking to help anyone that's awesome into the JAG Corps. So I had 10 years of a 20-year qualifying retirement accrued. So I was like, well, and I come up through West Point and active duty, so I didn't know what the reserve and the guard was. And I'll be honest, I didn't think highly of them. I didn't think they were helpful. It looked like it was a colossal waste of time. In my mind, I was like, either you do it full time or you don't do it at all. And I could not have been more wrong. So I started looking at this. The ROTC the head instructor there, he had sent a recruiter because they were hemorrhaging people with my rank. So he sent a recruiter to talk to me. I was like, I'm not interested. This is in law school. And then he started talking about bonuses. And it was like this or
that
like.
speaks your language.
I was like, do I not have to eat canned meats anymore? Like, this is awesome. I was like, is this cash? And so, but then I was like, no, I've been in the Army long enough to know there's no good deals. Okay. I've talked to one recruiter in my life and that was a 10-year plan. So let's, like, I know what life, and I know what you're trying to do. And he was like, no, we've got this and it's a 3-year contract. You're guaranteed no deployments, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, all right, let's do it. But I wasn't a JAG yet. So in the middle of law school, I signed another contract as a logistics officer. But I was teaching ROTC. My last job in the Army was a company commander. So I was basically teaching the kids that were going to be lieutenants.
Okay.
Anyway, it was just a continuation. It was like I could do it with my eyes closed.
Right.
And so I did that. And once I got out of law school, I had one more year on that contract. And so I ended up working with ROTC for another year. But then I submitted, somebody was like, why don't you just put in for the JAG Corps? And I was like, I only have 1 year left. So I put in for it and they're like, oh, you got accepted into the reserve. And I was like, well, what am I going to do with that? Like, I still have to find a real job.
Right.
And they said, well, if you want to get promoted right now, though, everybody's got to get a deployment as a JAG. And I was like, okay. So I went to Kuwait, which on looking back, it was a much better environment than Iraq. So I was like, I can do Kuwait for a year. And then I got into there, and then more folks in the reserve, they're like, well, why don't you look at a full-time? And I was like, well, only if I get to go like places I like. And so I just kind of kept getting like right time, right place. And so I ended up there. It wasn't necessarily that I was going to come back to it, but the numbers just matched up for me. Like in 10 years, I looked at it like I had 10 years to find another job if I stuck with that.
Right.
Because I could retire and I would have been in my 30s. So that's kind of how it worked out for me. It's been a great trip though. Like I've been stationed, because again, I only work with reserve units. So I've been stationed in great places, Los Angeles, Houston, now I'm in DC. I've gotten 2 more degrees. I have an LLM. I have a master's in strategic studies. I don't know what you do with that one, but if it ever comes up, I can always, I don't know, you bring it to bet with it at a poker game. I don't know what you do with that one, but it was a super interesting year, kidding aside. Like it was super cool. And so I didn't really have anything in mind. It's just the numbers worked out. Because at the end of the day, it's all about money, right? It's not about making the most money, but you got to find a place where you are going to be able to feed yourself and have the life that you want. You're not going to wake up and automatically just fall into $1 million case. So that's how it worked out for me. And there was another thought that I had in there, but Oh, that's what it was. On the reserve side, so I move lately it's been almost every year for the last 2 or 3 years, but 2 to 3 years on average. And so I would work in these offices where I would have these part-time attorneys and working with us. And you're not working 1 week in a month and paying your bills. You're working 1 week in a month because you like the service. You like working with the Army. You like to contribute and give back. And so I would meet the most amazing lawyers that do every type of job. Some are corporate, some are private practice, some are solo practitioners, some of them work for the government, some of like every type of lawyer that there was, I've been in touch with, and I've really, really appreciated that too. We just have a lot of brilliant folks serving the country. And I know that other services have it, the Navy and the Air Force. Ours is the biggest, but I mean, right now we're filling Department of Justice gigs by helping we're bringing immigration judges to help the Department of Justice. We're doing a lot of stuff with the border. Like, we're really involved in a lot of things now. So it's a pretty cool time.
I didn't realize until you mentioned it that I always thought Army Reserve was 1 week in a month. You know, that's how they advertise it. I see all the TV ads.
Yep.
But you literally are Army Reserve, and you've been full time.
I am full time.
And there are full time positions with the Army Reserve. Yeah.
Yep, we've got full-time everything. We just don't have a lot of it.
Yeah.
So we've got full-time commanders, but not every commander's full-time. We've got full-time attorneys. Not every attorney's full-time. I last worked in a medical command. So we had, one of my brigade commanders was an anesthesiologist. I'm like,
Wow.
that guy doesn't need money. He's just out here like, I like serving my country. I
Yeah.
like being leader of troops. Like, great guy. Like, just... my last general, she had a thriving business, and she's a 2-star general now, and she was originally enlisted first and then switched over to be an officer and has made it through the ranks up to be a general. And she's one of the most selfless people I've ever met, and she has a great business on her civilian side.
Well, on the civilian side, obviously I run a law office, and I have clients that come in, and I take care of their needs. But on the JAG side, in your last command before the Pentagon, you also ran a law office, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
So I was a staff judge advocate, SJ for short, because Lord knows we love our acronyms.
You do.
But so I had an office, and we've got civil, criminal, we've got a lot of administrative type civil things are big bread and butter, but any type of issue could walk through the door. So you've got family support. There could be an environmental law one. We have a lot of jurisdiction issues because not all of our commands are on purely federal land. So, if a homeless person jumps the fence, breaks in, are you calling the sheriff? You're calling the police. Like, we don't have our own police forces everywhere. Like, you just don't know what question's gonna pop through the door. It's like, so-and-so on the staff got a DUI last night. Well, that's a civilian criminal matter, but what are we gonna do about it administratively? So we have lots of stuff like that. But I had a full office with down trace offices as well, for lack of a better term. So it was about 15 attorneys, about a dozen paralegals, and we were managing, 10,000 soldier command. So all the legal issues for that command.
So has your day-to-day in JAG been the same?
Nope. That's the joy of it. You never know what's going to come in. And not all problems happen between 9 and 5. So if a commander's got an issue that comes up, or sometimes your commander's in another continent on a different time zone and they didn't take you with them and they have questions.
At 3 a.m.?
It's not
Your
3
time.
a.m. their time. Yep. So you are on call at all times. So no, it's not day-to-day issues. It's not the same people. Like, we rotate our full-time folks every 2 to 3 years, and not everybody's on the same cycle. So you don't have the same team all the time.
Yeah.
The part-time folks rotate, promote out, things like that. They find other jobs.
Yeah.
So you're constantly building your team. Like, I would say, as a leader of a law office, I'll see cases and I'll give some general guidance on them, but for the most part, it's team building and leading.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So whenever I was your age, 17, 18, I remember my dad had been in the military, and
That's
I'm
right.
an Air Force brat. And I remember my dad just begging me to join the military because he knew that 17-year-old Jackie needed some direction, and she needed direction and discipline, and she didn't have a whole lot of either one of those things. Her buckets were empty. But of course, I knew more than he did, and I didn't do that. And so, so I knew more than him. I've seriously always regretted that. I've always regretted that. Was one regret I can't go back and fix. I actually looked into it whenever we were in law school, and I was like, "How old do you have to be?" I think I missed that. But I've still had a very rewarding law school. Certainly set me up for this, and I love helping people, and I love what I do, and I love just setting people up to where they get the best outcome that they can possibly get.
Yeah.
Tell me that about your job. What is the most rewarding thing you do?
I really like having a skill set that helps a commander get to where they want to get really fast. So it's different things in different environments. So this is probably the most common example. If you're out on a battlefield, let's look at, a scenario where you're trying to figure out collateral damage. So easy case. There's a school. The school is a possible target. Are you going to just blow up a school? Yeah. Most people are like, no, which makes sense. You're going to start off with no, but I'm there to help. Well, what time is school? School's 9 to 5, right? Is there anybody there at night? No, just the bad guys are at night. So is it a target only at night? And kind of walk them through that type of scenario or situations. Like this hospital has a lot of children in it that are like, it's a children's hospital. Yeah, but are the kids there when the bad guys are in there doing X, Y, and Z? So helping a commander think through that to get to the right answer on rules of engagement is good. Another one is, we are an employer in the United States Army. We have to fire people.
Yeah.
So how do you fire someone that's signed a contract to volunteer for their country? Like, what's the best way to do it? And because they have a contract, sometimes people act up right before the end of the contract because they know it's the end of the contract. But you need to have some sort of record that says, hey, if you are trying to come back for another contract, you need to know that this person did this under this contract. So there's working different scenarios to get things done like that. We've got drug testing. That's a lot of our misconduct there because it's an easy thing to measure. And then you've got folks, we have a lot of reserve kids that are out doing stuff on the civilian side that don't coincide with honorable service. And so we've got to decide if we're going to fire them based on something they've done on the civilian side. So a commander isn't waking up in the morning going, man, I hope I have a lot of legal issues today. Like, I really want to talk about the law. They don't. They are not there. I'm the one that's paid to think through all that stuff. So they're there to do their mission. They're there. Whatever their war fighting mission is what they want to focus on. And helping them stay on that track and deal with that as much as possible without being a nuisance or just like, I don't know what you should do. Like, I just can't imagine being a commander and just not having someone that's like, hey, lawyer, like judge. That's what they call us. What do we do here? Like, I'll be back in 30 minutes with all the answer. Here's which direction we should go in. Tell me which one you want, and then I'll be out of your hair. The problem with that is you get invited to a lot more events, so you get a lot less time doing stuff. So you got to balance. You can only be so good. No, I'm kidding. Kidding.
I tell you what you make me think of, and you've done this before in our private conversations. You make me think of all the things that I don't have to worry about whenever I just lay down at night and go to sleep. And
the blanket of security.
You are the blanket of security. And I'm not worrying about targets and bad guys and all that kind of stuff because I know you guys are out there taking care of it.
We got a lot of folks out there that just love doing it. And they're good. They're so good. Like, I know you're not trying to derail this into like a conversation about our adversaries, but like what we have, like whenever we go to other countries and do stuff, like the way that our kids are trained, there's a pride, there's like a competitiveness, like it's when we go and fight arm to arm with like a lot of our allies, like we're impressed with them, but it's just what made America become America in the first place
Yeah.
is oftentimes the spirit that's in the soldiers that go forward.
Yeah.
So it's like we know we're kind of our own. We know we're kind of like it's just it's that grit, you
Yeah.
know? And so it just makes it so fun to serve because you're just in it to win it. And it just and that's me because I have a competitive lens, you know, a lot of times. And it just warms my heart out there killing bad guys.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to end it right there.
Yeah.
I thank you so much for making the trek. You certainly don't live in Wilmington, North Carolina, and I'm honored that you made the trek.
It was a pleasure.
And I told you that it was video, and it was video in person.
It was.
So
I've been going where you told me to be
No,
since
you haven't.
2006.
No, you haven't.
I've strongly considered it every time.
And that's all that matters, is that you strongly consider it. I really
strongly
appreciate
consider it,
that.
which is more than I can say for most.
Okay.
So.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
It was a pleasure. I'm glad we had this excuse to see each other.
But for that Wall Street Journal.
But for who knew? But for
Who
that
knew?
acquired Wall Street Journal. Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, Jennifer could talk all day about JAG and her great experience there. And, you know, it's an honorable profession. So as is the practice of law, but then you take it to another level and you serve your country as well. That's very impressive. So we're going to close it there. Thank you so much for listening. This is Jackie Hauser with Flexner Hauser Injury Law. This is our podcast, Laughter in the Law, where we talk about the law with a lighthearted twist.